After what feels like half a decade of waiting, Mushoku Tensei is finally here with Season 3. And they blessed us with 2 whole episodes, focusing entirely on Eris to start things off. And if you know anything about me, Eris is by far one of my favorite Mushoku Tensei characters, and these 2 episodes made me fall back in love with her after she went missing for the entirety of Season 2. These episodes were genuinely incredible, and they reminded me so much of Season 1 with its writing, presentation, animation, and an incredible cast of characters that you can instantly connect with even though they were introduced just a few minutes ago. Like, seriously, when I first watched the trailer for this Eris arc, I thought that all the characters were gonna be NPCs only there to hype up Eris, but I was genuinely surprised by how much I liked Nina, Isekai, Galfarian, and Auber. After the less than ideal adaptation of the series in Season 2, it seems like Studio Bind and the series director Shibuya Ryosuke have completely locked in and ready to prove all the doubters wrong. Episode 1 genuinely surprised me. I knew that Season 3 wasn't going through as many production issues as Season 2, but I wasn't expecting the episode to look this good. It honestly felt like I was watching an episode from Season 1 because of how polished the entire episode felt. To start things off, the art and drawing quality upgrade from Season 2 is very noticeable throughout the whole episode, especially with shots like these. And for the animation, I obviously expected the action scenes to be great, but even the non-action scenes had some really nice animation and direction, which is something I always appreciate. But most importantly, we have the return of Season 1 style openings, which is one of the things that made Season 1 so damn iconic for me. The sense of adventure and travel with Yuiko Ohara's heavenly voice as the opening song just hits different compared to the usual anime openings. Now, talking about the story content, the episode actually starts off with a POV of Eris showing what she felt like in the moment before leaving him. I had previously heard about the anime cutting this POV of Eris, so it's nice that they finally adapted it into the anime, even though we're 2 seasons far gone. Also, it's actually kind of hilarious that Eris left off thinking that she made things official with Rudeus, while he himself ended up with depression, trauma, ED, and doubting his own sexuality. I really can't wait to see their reunion, and I really hope that the story goes into their feelings of hurt and sense of betrayal instead of portraying it as a comedic misunderstanding that gets resolved in a single episode. I will actually be kind of disappointed if it's not handled seriously, because it would cheapen all the emotional and impactful moments that happened during Rudy's depression arc because of Eris. Aside from that, we have the introduction of Sword God Galfarian and his daughter Nina along with Auber. To be honest, I really wasn't expecting to like them this much in just one single episode. I truly love that even the side characters in Mushoku Tensei feel so three-dimensional and alive even outside of their interactions with the main characters that we follow. It's one of the series' biggest strengths, and it's at full display in this mini arc. Eris beating the shit out of Nina and the other kid was just absolutely crazy. She really is fitting for her title as the Mad Dog. And finally, all her fights with Auber and Galfarian were just so insanely cool, especially whenever they used the light sword thing. Moving on to episode 2, this was another great episode to wrap up this training arc, though I definitely prefer the first episode a bit more. It just felt more polished, and the art was definitely a bit inconsistent in episode 2. The action scenes in both episodes were definitely on par with each other, but I just personally prefer fights against actual opponents like episode 1 instead of going up against random monsters like in episode 2. The first half of this episode was a POV of Nina as she tries to learn more about Rudeus, and it finally clicked in my head that she was the random non-NPC looking girl from the bodyguardy episode. And the second half of this episode is Isolette's introduction and focusing on the rivalry between all 3. I was honestly expecting Eris to absolutely wipe the floor with Isolette, but it was a pleasant surprise to see her actually losing in their first fight. Then Isolde getting absolutely mocked by Nina made this a very cool three-way dynamic and made me realize they aren't just gonna be fodder characters and they'll probably become important later on. And lastly, the forest fight was also pretty cool, but sadly most of the cuts in this fight were shown in the trailer, so it felt way less impactful compared to the trailer hiding all of the best animation cuts from episode 1. So far, my first impressions of season 3 have been extremely positive, and I think we're in for a fantastic season if Studio Bind can keep up this quality for future episodes, especially based on the way light novel readers have been hyping up season 3 content for years at this point. The animation also has been a very noticeable upgrade over season 2, but my favorite thing so far has been the pacing. There were so many episodes in season 2 where the pacing felt so fast to the point of ruining impactful moments like in the Soldat arc. And I heard so much about cut content in season 2 that would have drastically improved the anime and even the reputation of the series within the anime community. And so far, season 3 really feels like it's way better paced, and even if there's cut content, it's not dampening my enjoyment of the anime unlike some moments in season 2. Especially with how Sylphie's backstory was jammed into a single episode with mediocre animation and barely enough time to care about the new characters. But anyways, those are pretty much all of my thoughts on this double episode premiere as an anime-only fan of the series. It really feels like the original charm of Mushoku Tensei is back in this season, and I honestly can't wait for more. Leave a like if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know how you guys felt about this premiere, and consider subscribing for more Mushoku Tensei and just anime content in general. Peace.